Egypt unveils a Gaza reconstruction plan and seeks peace with Trump administration and emphasizes a two-state solution. Jordan and Egypt reject displacement and back the two-state solution after Jordan's king meeting with Donald Trump. And the Palestinian president praises the Arab support and calls for Gaza reconstruction and a peace conference. It's 4 p.m. Cairo local time and you're now watching Q News. I'm Hani Saif and we begin today's bulletin with the latest developments in Gaza. During his meeting with King Abdullah II of Jordan in Washington, U.S. President Donald Trump reiterated his deadline for Hamas to release Israeli detainees by this Saturday. Trump expressed doubts about Hamas's commitment to meeting the deadline. Meanwhile, King Abdullah emphasized that a pathway to peace and prosperity exists in the region, announcing that Jordan will admit 2,000 sick children from Gaza for medical treatment.
We've had some quick discussions just now, and we're going to have some longer discussions after this.
Egypt has announced its intention to present an integrated vision for the reconstruction of Gaza in a way that ensures the continued presence of the Palestinian people on their land and preserves their legitimate and legal rights. In a statement, Egypt's foreign ministry expressed its hope to cooperate with the Trump administration towards achieving comprehensive regional peace, emphasizing a fair settlement of the Palestinian issue. It stressed that any resolution must preserve the gains of regional peace, end the Israeli occupation, and implement the two-state solution to ensure stability and coexistence. An Egyptian source has revealed that Egypt and Qatar are intensifying diplomatic efforts to save the Gaza ceasefire agreement. The source added that high-level talks are ongoing with all parties amid increasing U.S. and Israeli pressure to resume military operations if detainees are not released by Saturday. The mediation efforts aim to implement the deal fairly, maintain calm and avoid escalation. The source added that both Cairo and Doha underline the importance of adhering to the agreement to prevent a regional crisis. Egypt has voiced its displeasure with statements made by Israeli and American officials regarding the Palestinian cause. Egyptian sources emphasize that Egypt rejects any proposal to allocate land for Gaza residents or displace Palestinians from their land and resettle them elsewhere. The sources added that Egypt stresses any solution to the crisis must ensure that Gaza residents remain on their land. Arab League Secretary General Ahmed Abul Gheit has warned against U.S. President Donald Trump's proposal to displace Palestinians from Gaza, citing risks to the stability of the Middle East. Speaking at the World Government Summit in Dubai, Abul Gheit condemned these plans as unacceptable to Palestinians and Arabs, warning against further regional tensions. He urged Arab nations to propose a collaborative plan for Gaza's rehabilitation without displacement, emphasizing the need for calm and Palestinian unity. Jordanian Prime Minister Jafar Hassan has stated that King Abdullah II reaffirmed during his meeting with US President Donald Trump that Jordan's interests and stability are paramount. Their discussions focused on Gaza's future and the two-state solution. The king rejected any forced Palestinian displacement, emphasizing the reconstruction of Gaza for its residents and opposing solutions that come at Jordan's expense. Hassan highlighted Jordan's role in unified Arab collaboration to rebuild Gaza, support Palestinian rights, and reject resettlement or displacement.
I think the Egyptians to present their plan on how we can work with the president to work on the Gaza challenge. We have to keep in mind.
Jordanian Foreign Minister Ayman Safadi has stated that King Abdullah II's meeting with US President Donald Trump provided an important platform for proposing alternative ideas to rebuild Gaza. Al-Safadi emphasized the shared stance of Jordan and Egypt against displacement and their support for a Palestinian state based on the two-state solution. He added that Jordan had presented proposals aligned with the unified Arab stance, advocating for Palestinian rights. Upcoming Arab summits will reaffirm these principles. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas has praised Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Jordan and their allies for rejecting plans for displacement and land annexation. Abbas emphasized that there can be no peace without a Palestinian state, immediate cessation of hostilities, Gaza reconstruction and governance under a Palestinian-led plan supported by both Arab and international partners. The Palestinian president reaffirmed Palestinian resilience, praised King Abdullah II in a peace conference led by Saudi Arabia and France. A Palestinian source has stated that Egyptian and Qatari mediators are working intensively to resolve the crisis surrounding the ceasefire agreement in Gaza. This follows Israel's threat to resume fighting if Hamas fails to release detainees by the weekend. The Palestinian source added that the mediators are coordinating with the US to ensure Israel adheres to the humanitarian terms of the ceasefire and begins negotiations for the next phase. The Palestinian Ministry of Foreign Affairs has called on the United Nations Security Council to take immediate action to force Israel to halt its aggression. In a statement, the ministry condemned Israel's unilateral and illegal actions, particularly the expansion of settlements. The Palestinian Authority accused the international community of failing to prevent the escalating Israeli attacks. Hamas has praised Egypt and Jordan for rejecting the displacement of Palestinians and supporting a unified Arab plan to rebuild Gaza without forcing its residents to relocate. Hamas emphasized Jordan's consistent stance against resettlement schemes that undermine Palestinian identity and rights. It expressed gratitude to Arab and global allies who opposed such plans and reiterated the Palestinian people's unwavering commitment to their homeland, rejecting any solutions that compromise their legitimate rights to freedom and independence. UAE President Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan has emphasized to the U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio the need for a just and comprehensive peace in the region based on a two-state solution to ensure security and stability for all. During a phone call, they discussed strengthening strategic cooperation and addressed regional and global developments, particularly in the Middle East, while exchanging views on issues of mutual concern. And for more analysis on this file, we now move to Rana in our newsroom. Rana.
Thank you very much, Hani. And now for further analysis on the meeting between US President Donald Trump and Jordanian King Abdullah II, we're joined from Cairo by Al-Ahram newspaper managing editor, Mr. Ashraf Al-Ashri. Welcome to Qnews, sir. What are the key factors driving the international opposition to President Trump's proposal to take control of Gaza, and why is it so controversial among neighboring Arab countries, sir?
Of course, this proposal is unrealistic, unacceptable, because it's against the national Arab security, and also it creates an instability, threatening the regional stability, and also cause the return of tensions, violence, and terrorists, because this considers as irrespectable for the Palestinian people rights as forced displacement for people who have been living in their territories for more than 4,000 years. This is unacceptable. Regarding this respect of anything related to have an independent Palestinian state and have a political peace settlement inside the Middle East. From that we get the Egyptian and Arab consensus refusing any of these proposals that doesn't consider the right of self-determination of the Palestinian people as an independent state. And so Trump's proposal, even the friends of U.S. and Israel in the Western, as the German Chancellor stated, is considered a political scandal. This proposal is unrealistic and it will never help the restore of stability and security in the Middle East, especially in the Arab region. So I believe what is happening right now and will happening in the coming period will be an Egyptian effort, this Egyptian summit and another Arab summit. This will change the equation in order to have a period against this proposal, to freeze this proposal that will only create more Arab efforts and more Arab solidarity, because all the international community, only US and Israel are supporting this proposal, but all the Arab states and all the Western world is supporting the Egyptian plan.
Sir, how would the relocation of Gaza's Palestinian residents to countries like Jordan and Egypt impact the stability and political dynamics on the Middle East, especially in terms of refugee populations, sir?
Of course, this will never happen. And it's very difficult to have an Egyptian or Jordanian support for this plan, because both states has been doing this coordination and consultation by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and Jordanian King. And the Egyptian vision were expressed in order to have a united stances between Jordan and Egypt, refusing any kind of disrespect for the self-determination of the Palestinian people and their presence in the West Bank and also in Gaza Strip. And we can see this united Arab stance. Maybe this solidarity among all the Arab states, this will create this United States that will play a great role in sending a serious message for the American side and the Israeli side. This proposal will never be accepted. And this proposal need a clear Arab stance that will continue giving the support, and we can see this will implemented on 27 of February in the Arab Summit after all these stances where another efforts will be implemented to reconstruction of Gaza. And that's what Egypt has been preparing right now, as we have seen the statement from Egyptian Foreign Ministry for the reconstruction of Gaza Strip while the Palestinian people are present in their territories. So there is a firm rejection for this proposal with this Arab-Egyptian stance with the collaboration of the United Nations and the international community.
Sir, what are the potential legal and humanitarian implications of the proposed plan, especially regarding the rights of displaced Palestinians under the international law, sir?
Of course, this proposal is against the international community and the international humanitarian law, and also the international United Nations Resolution 44844, and also 149 resolution for the refugees. All the international resolution against this proposal. They all refuse the disrespect of the Palestinian people's rights and the right in self-determination. in order to have a Palestinian independent according to 224 international resolutions. And for that, I believe that the international resolution completely and firmly refuse any approach that supports the forced displacement, because this will be unprecedented for the 21st century. What the U.S. are doing and what is Trump is doing, this is an occupation for an Arab territories, disrespecting the rights of self-determination. So it's very difficult for the global community to accept this the return of this occupation. And the international law is against this, with many of the terms with the Arab support, even Trump and Israel threat, because all of that will cause a great rejection from the global community and will lead to instability and tensions around the Arab states and the Arab region.
Sir, given the U.S. proposal and the backlash from Europe and the United Nations, how do you see the future of the United States foreign policy in the region, especially concerning relations with allies like Jordan and Egypt?
Of course, these relations will somehow decline in the Egyptian-Jordanian relations with the American side. There will be a decline also in the American interest inside the Middle East. Egypt is a strategic partner for more than 70 years. We have a lot of diplomatic relations. U.S. was somehow a grantee and peace accords between Israel and Egypt. So when we have a decline in relation with some important states like Egypt and other partners like Jordan, this will lead a lot of consequences and instability for the American interest in the Middle East. And we can see the decline in the American interest, because it's not only about the occupation, but it's also about the forced displacement of the Palestinian people. And the Palestinian cause is something important for the whole Arab world. And I believe we're going to see 4 years include a lot of tensions in the Arab-American relations, and maybe the American interests will be under threat. Maybe America will lose major partners and allies in the region as Egypt and Jordan, maybe from the Gulf states also. And this will be all discussed in the Arab Islamic Summit, giving these messages for the American side in the coming days.
Sir, from Cairo, that was Al-Ahram newspaper managing editor, Mr. Ashraf Al-Ashri. Thank you very much for joining us here on Q News. And now back again to Hani.
Thank you, Rana. In a high-stakes meeting, US President Donald Trump and Jordan's King Abdullah II discussed the future of the Gaza Strip, with Trump reaffirming his controversial proposal to assume control of the region.
Mr. President, is Saturday still your deadline?
On February 11th, 2025, U.S. President Donald Trump met with Jordan's King Abdullah II at the White House to discuss Gaza's future. Trump proposed U.S. control of Gaza, envisioning it as a Riviera of the Middle East, while relocating Palestinians to Egypt and Jordan. Plans both nations rejected. Trump emphasized economic development under U.S. stewardship and warned of ending the ceasefire unless Hamas released all detainees by February 15th.
The Palestinian relationship between
King Abdullah thanked the U.S. for mediating but rejected forced displacement, advocating for a two-state solution and Gaza's reconstruction. He also agreed to provide medical care for 2,000 Gazan children in Jordan. Internationally, the plan faced sharp criticism. Jordan reaffirmed its rejection of displacement, with Foreign Minister Ayman Safadi emphasizing the need to respect Palestinian rights. Egypt also condemned the proposal, advocating for Gaza's reconstruction without displacing its residents.
By the U.S. with so much
Hamas accused Israel for ceasefire violations, citing insufficient humanitarian aid and delays in releasing detainees, while European nations, including Germany, France, and the UK, condemned Trump's plan for breaching international law. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres warned against measures resembling ethnic cleansing, urging respect for human rights.
And
Domestically, a Reuters Ipsos poll revealed that 74% of Americans oppose U.S. control of Gaza and the displacement of Palestinians. While some Republicans supported Trump's plan, Democrats like Senator Chris Van Hollen criticize it as offensive. The international community continues to monitor the situation, with most nations advocating for solutions that address both Gaza's humanitarian needs and the ultimate political settlement of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict.
China has strongly opposed what it called the forced displacement of Palestinians, responding to U.S. President Donald Trump's proposal to relocate residents of Gaza. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Zhao Lijian emphasized that Gaza is an integral part of Palestinian territory, rejecting forced removals. Trump's plan to place Gaza under U.S. control and transform it into a Middle Eastern Riviera sparked global outrage, with Arab nations reaffirming their support for a two-state solution and an independent Palestinian state.
科学精准做好防控工作，高效统筹疫情防控和经济社会发展。
French President Emmanuel Macron has emphasized that rebuilding Gaza must respect Palestinian rights and territorial sovereignty. Macron stated that Gaza's residents reject relocation abroad, a position shared by regional nations. He emphasized that no one can prevent 2 million people from returning to their cities in Gaza, as the issue is political, not a real estate matter. Macron's comments reflect growing international support for Palestinian sovereignty.
Et va nous permettre d'en poser avec un espace international.
Israelis have gathered in Tel Aviv after Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu warned on Tuesday, February 11th, that if Hamas fails to release Israeli detainees by noon on Saturday, the Israeli military will resume its offensive in Gaza. Netanyahu stated that the fragile ceasefire would end and Israel's army would resume its operations until Hamas is defeated. Hamas has begun gradually releasing detainees under the first phase of a ceasefire agreement reached last month. However, Hamas announced on Monday that it would halt further releases, accusing Israel of violating the ceasefire terms through deadly shootings and delays in aid deliveries to Gaza. The United Nations Relief and Works Agency has warned of the increasing forced displacement in the West Bank, with 40,000 Palestinians from refugee camps, especially in Jenin, displaced due to Israeli military actions. UNRWA reported that over 60% of this displacement in 2024 resulted from Israeli incursions and airstrikes, which continue to threaten the lives of refugees and agency staff. And moving on to Beirut, where Lebanese President Joseph Aoun has urged European Union nations to pressure Israel into completing its withdrawal by the February 18th deadline. During a meeting with the Portuguese Foreign Minister, Aoun reaffirmed Lebanon's support for the Arab Peace Initiative and rejected proposals that involve the displacement of Palestinians or violations of their legitimate rights as upheld by UN resolutions. The discussion emphasized Lebanon's commitment to regional stability and the preservation of Palestinian rights. And in Damascus, the Syrian presidency has formed a preparatory committee for the National Dialogue Conference, set to be officially announced today. The committee consists of 7 members, including researchers, writers and political figures. This follows a meeting between Transitional President Ahmed al-Shara and the Syrian Negotiation Commission. These are all the news we have for now, but here's a reminder of today's main stories. Egypt unveils Gaza reconstruction plan and seeks peace with the Trump administration and emphasizes a two-state solution. Jordan and Egypt reject displacement and back the two-state solution after Jordan's king meeting with Donald Trump. And the Palestinian president praises the Arab support, calls for Gaza reconstruction and a peace conference. This concludes our news bulletin for this hour, but please don't forget to follow Q News on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram and TikTok at Qnews EGY to stay informed. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for more updates here on Q News.